So good morning, good afternoon. Now people are in different time zones. Thank you for joining today. I think some people might join a little late, but thank you for the second session for the journey of self-discovery. Today's topic is search for happiness. Who doesn't want to be happy? So let me share my screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. All right, so this is a 7-session course on the journey of self-discovery, right? The last time we spoke about the introduction, the 7-session course, today is day 2. So every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we talk about these different topics. Today's topic is search for happiness. Next week would be, is there a God? And then following topics would be, are there multiple gods or one God? And then there are topics like, who am I? Why do bad things happen to good people? Practical spirituality. All those topics will we be covering. So as you can see, this man is looking for something. In our lives, we are all looking for something, right? A poor man is looking for money. A rich man, he has a big mansion in the city. He thinks, if I have a house which is close to nature, he wants that. And the one who is in nature wants to move to the city. So there's different perspective for each and every person. There's 7 billion people on the earth. There's one goal that unifies everyone, and that goal is happiness. There's a story of a king and a butterfly. A king went to a sage and saying, I want to be happy. I can't seem to find happiness anywhere. So the king said, go to your garden and chase a butterfly and catch a butterfly. If you're able to catch the butterfly, you'll find happiness, right? And then what does it do? He keeps running after a butterfly in the garden. He keeps running and he's exhausted. He's still unable to catch the butterfly. At the end, the butterfly sits on top of him when he's exhausted and sitting down. So some people say that you'll find happiness inside of you. Some people say you work hard, get all the pleasures in your life, and you'll find happiness. Some people say that it's a perspective, saying each man has its own perspective of happiness. So there are so many stories about happiness, right? So let's see what the Shastras and the scriptures have to say about happiness. So for a second, let's decide, like, okay, all the animals on one side and the human beings on one side. Let's categorize them into 2 categories, the human beings, and then you have the animals. So if we are categorizing them into 2 different categories, then there will be some common things between the animals and the human beings, and there will be some differences. What do you think are the common things between animals and humans? Somebody can unmute and say, what do you think could be the common thing between an animal and a human?
Eating, sleeping.
Yes. Eating, sleeping. Yes. Anything else?
Having children, or I guess what's
Yeah.
called propagation of life.
Yes. Yes. Anybody else? Any other common things we think?
And we have like same anatomy.
Same anatomy.
Yeah, almost, you know.
It's a little differently because you're putting all the animals, right? Even all the animals in this picture, in this category, right? So let's see, what are the common things and between animals and humans, right? So communication, yes, to a certain extent, but the way we communicate, we speak, the animals don't communicate. that way. But as per the scriptures, there are 4 things which are common between animals and humans: one, sleeping, eating, enjoyment, and defending, right? These are the 4 common things between animals and humans. So if we see, right, sleeping, an animal, wherever he gets the space, some birds make a nest, some animals will find a tree or something. They don't need sophistication, right? The animals will sleep in a very simple location, whereas the humans have made it so very sophisticated, very nice beds, nice pillows. And then I've heard about like German beds. The Germans have invented a different kind of bed where if they want at 3 p.m., if they want to see a sunrise, it can make that happen through the window. Some kind of some scientific things through the window, it'll show sunrise at 3 p.m. If they want to wake them up, it can eject water on their face. So human beings have become so sophisticated as far as the sleeping comforts are concerned. The other common thing between humans and animals is eating, right? Animals, they don't care about forks, knives, and everything. They will just eat what they have to eat. And humans, fancy restaurants, fancy food. They again, it's another level. But the common essence between the 2 things is essentially it's the same thing: is sleeping and eating, right? And then enjoying or mating, right? The animals also mate for procreation, for reproduction. The humans also, again, but humans take it to a different level. The essence is the same, but they will add so many things to it. And then the last one, which is the common between both of them, is defending, right? An animal, when it feels it's being attacked, it'll use its body to defend itself. Whereas what we have done, we have AK-47s, we have different kind of rifles, we have nuclear bombs, atomic bombs, and sometimes we can have the nuclear bomb the controller in somebody whose mind might not be under his control. So it can become a big problem. But these 4 things: sleeping, S, E, enjoying or eating, E, and third, enjoying, another E, S, E, E, and D, defending, seed. These are the 4 common things between humans and animals, right? So when we have these common things, of course, there will be some differences. What do you think are the differences between animals and humans? Anybody wants to take a guess?
Animals' instincts, they respond to instincts, and humans, mostly if they are intelligent, they should be responding to reasoning rather than instinct, I think.
Okay, good point. Anybody else?
Animals, human beings can adapt to any situation or place, whereas animals, if they are not there in their natural, like if you bring a penguin to the Sahara Desert, they cannot exist, whereas human can exist, can go to Sahara and go to Antarctica, I guess. They can adapt to, they can make any place their own.
Okay. They make any place their own. Okay. Anything else? Okay. So let's see. I think Shamna was saying the reasoning or intellectual part. They also have some reasoning, right? Like if you see the monkeys, if you feed them bananas, but on the other hand, they have something which is they don't like, and you have 2 things. They have reasoning what they like and what they can do, even to take the bananas out of you, right? They can steal something and then they get the bananas. Have some questioning logic. Again, it's to a lesser extent. They still have this. They have the thinking capabilities too, and they have logical intelligence too at a lower level, even though humans might be at a higher level, right? But all these activities which are there, only these things are used for the seed purposes: sleeping, eating, enjoying, defending. All these capabilities they have, all the functions they are utilizing towards these the seed: sleeping, eating, enjoying it, and defending. Then how are we special, right? Because we have the ability for higher inquiry. We can experience bliss, and we will talk about it. We have freedom of choice, and then we have determination. These 4 qualities are not there in animals. So these are the 4 ABCDs. A, ability for higher inquiry. B was bliss. C for choice, and D for determination. So human life, again, people have this potential. It's up to them whether they want to utilize this potential or not, right? Congratulations to all of you guys. You are utilizing that potential, and you're coming to this seminar, right? Saying, how do I discover myself? So human life, if it doesn't inquire, then we have similar to animals, but we inquire about our own purpose. What's the purpose of life? How do we get happiness? Like, what is the ultimate goal of human life? Then we can get promoted to higher life. That consciousness is there in us, but we just have to utilize and think through. Yes, is there a purpose beyond seed, which is sleeping, eating, enjoying, and defending? Is there something else, right? We can the dog think, oh, why these many stars are there in the sky? But the human beings think. The human beings think, okay, what is our origin? They have that higher intellect, and they are inquiring about themselves. The animals will not think, okay, who am I? They will not think they are the Atma, that they are the soul. They will not think like that. They don't have that ability for higher inquiry. And the most important part, humans have that they can experience bliss. This is happiness. When happiness is at a much higher level, then it's called bliss. So in the scriptures, as mentioned, there are 4 kinds of bliss, right? This is what we're looking for: happiness. Not even happiness, we're looking for bliss. There are 4 kinds of happiness explained in the scriptures. The first one is called parthiv rasa, which is called the physical pleasure. And it's like when you have perfect senses and unlimited resources, it's the parthiv rasa. Like, okay, but I don't have perfect senses. I have glasses, so I'm disqualified from him. And do we have unlimited resources? So to take an example, parthiv rasa is like, I like to eat. I should be able to eat as much as I can, as much as I want, not can, as much as I want, till I'm so happy, right? I say I like burgers. I want to eat burgers. Can I eat 100 burgers? No, I will have digestive problems. So, and I might not have 100 burgers at my disposal. So for parthiv rasa to happen, you need perfect senses and unlimited resources. So that's the first level of bliss, right? That is at the physical pleasure level where you're enjoying with your senses. So the concept is just eat, sleep, and be merry. Then the next level of bliss is swargiya rasa, or the heavenly pleasure, or the emotional pleasure. It is 1,000 times more than the parthiv rasa, right? So in the heavenly planets, they can have that capacity to eat, sleep, and be merry 1,000 times more than what you can do here. But again, the concept, it's at a more of an emotional pleasure. So the concept is do your duty nicely, and happiness is a state of mind. It's very difficult to achieve those here because we don't have perfect senses and we do not have unlimited resources here. What's the third level? As per the scriptures, that's called the Brahman rasa, or the intellectual pleasure, right? We are intellectually happy, right? We are totally absorbed. We are totally absorbing our intelligence on the spiritual platform, and it can eradicate all distress. So that it's also called the mukti, or the moksha, liberation. That's the Brahman rasa. That's the third level, and It is 10,000 times more happy than the Parthiv Rasa, right? We said Parthiv Rasa, which is at the physical level of having unlimited resources and perfect senses. The Swargya Rasa, which is the emotional pleasure, that is 1,000 times higher than Parthiv Rasa. And then Brahman Rasa is 10,000 times higher, which is the intellectual pleasure, is 10,000 times higher than the Parthiv Rasa. But higher than this is the Bhakti Rasa, which is the spiritual pleasure. It's the Bhakti Yoga, right? It is higher than the pleasure of body, mind, and intelligence. Because you then identify your original nature, who you are, and you're connecting with the Supreme, who is full of bliss. You yourself, we ourselves, when we know who we are and what a relationship with the Supreme is, we are full of bliss. We are eternal. We are knowledgeable. When we understand that, we are always full of bliss. It's like if Brahman Rasa, the third level, is like a one drop of ocean, and then the Bhakti Rasa is the entire ocean. That's the comparison. So that Bhakti Rasa can give us the highest bliss, because when we love God, we can revive our original spiritual consciousness. So there were too many terminologies here. So I didn't want to confuse you. This will be again explained in the session 6, but this is the kind of happiness we want to get to. So we discussed the 4 differences. We are difference number 2. We discussed A, which stands for A was inquiry, right? The ability to inquire for a higher purpose. B is for bliss. C is for choice, right? Animals do not have much choices. They are just thinking seed, sleeping, eating, enjoying, and defending. They don't have any choice, right? Can you give like a grass to a tiger and they ask him to eat the grass? No. And can you give meat to a cow? Can they eat that meat? No. But humans, right? They can eat different kinds of things. And so let's take an example. A man was walking a dog. So other man was walking by and he said, "Why are you going with a donkey?" And the man felt very offended. "Can't you see? It's a dog, it's not a donkey." And the other man says, "I'm telling the dog, I'm not telling you." The dog never responded back, but the man who was walking the dog responded. So can the dog respond? No, they don't have a choice, right? The dog doesn't feel offended being called a donkey. So another example which comes to my mind is a story of Gautam Buddha, where Gautam Buddha was standing with a friend. Another man came and he shouted abuses at him. Buddha said nothing. Another man was seeing this and he says, "Buddha, why don't you say anything? This guy is just abusing you." So then Buddha says, "Okay, if I give you $10,000 and you don't take it, who does that money belong to?" He says, "No, I didn't take it, so it doesn't belong to me. It still belongs with the owner." So that's why then Gautam Buddha says that I did not take all those abuses. I did not take those bad words. So it still stayed with that man. So we have choice of how we respond. The animals don't. So humans act by choice. They have the power to choose the response, right? So we understood that. And then the other part is determination. We have the determination to do A, B, and C. We have the determination to inquire about a higher purpose. We have the ability to experience bliss. We have the ability to choose. This is our determination, but the animals don't have this. So we discussed what are the common things and what are the differences between animals and humans, right? The common things are seed, sleeping, eating, enjoying, and defending. The human beings have these potentials. We have all this, but are we utilizing all this potential? A, B, C, and D, this ability to inquire higher. B for bliss, C for choice, and this D for determination. We have all this potential. If we do not do this, then what are we? We have these gifts. The Shastras, the scripture says that if one does not explore one's potential as a human being, is simply a sophisticated, polished, two-legged animal. It's unfortunate, but it's true, right? Essentially, we're doing the same things if we are not inquiring for the higher truth, the higher bliss. We're basically two-legged animal, but just sophistication. Sophistication in sleeping, sophistication in eating, sophistication in mating, sophistication in defending. Right? So, in fact, we sometimes become worse than animals. We take sleeping pills. Animals don't take sleeping pills. Sometimes we threaten others. We have scarcity of resources. We are taking away too much of resources of the earth. We have heartbreaks. Animals don't have heartbreaks. We need to take stress management classes. We have addictions to alcohol, addictions to drugs, whatnot, and sometimes suicide. But animals, they do not do all this. So what are we missing? I didn't want to give the bad side of the story because this is search for happiness. But now we will say, so we discussed the common things and the differences. What is one thing which deprives us of happiness? Can somebody unmute and say, what is one word which you can say will deprives us of happiness?
Expectations.
Expectations, yeah.
What is this?
What was that?
I think it is not understanding what happiness is. We just try to find something that we think is what's going to give us happiness. But that's not really what it is. So I think the answer to that question is you really don't know what happiness is, and you're trying to figure it out in different ways rather than trying to look for the right thing, which is like your higher inquiry, your internal self.
Yes, you're on the right path. One thing which deprives us of happiness is problem, right? We have different problems in life, and we will discuss the problems. And then we will discuss how to achieve real happiness and what's the permanent solution. What's the goal of our life? Everybody wants to be happy, right? Everyone, whether it be a child, whether it's being an adult, whether it's an old person, everybody, even animals want to be happy. So there are two types of happiness: relative happiness and real happiness. And relative happiness can be found by solving the relative problems we have. And the real happiness can be found by solving the real problems. So we will discuss all this again. I'm throwing so many jargons at you. What are the kind of happiness we are looking for? We typically should be looking for happiness which is permanent, which is ever increasing. It doesn't decrease the happiness in many times. Okay, I say I want to be happy. I eat an ice cream in 5 minutes. After the ice cream is gone, it's done. The happiness is gone. But we should be looking for happiness which is permanent, which is ever increasing, and which we can share with our loved ones, and which is of variety. It's not like just one kind of happiness. It should be in a variety of things, or variety. It should have variety. I shouldn't say things. So this happiness is, if these characteristics are absent, then it is a relative happiness. Then of course, might be when I eat ice cream, I might be happy, but that is relative because it's not permanent. It's not ever increasing. It's not shared with loved ones. It's not variety. So it's relative. If any of these characteristics is missing, it's relative. What is a relative problem? One's man's food is another man's poison. That's the answer to this question, right? We see the grass is greener on the other side. Oh, I have, say, a Toyota Camry, but my neighbor has a Mercedes-Benz. I want that kind of car, right? So that's, if I get that car, I'll be happy. So we always thinking about something which somebody else has, or I want something bigger, better, even if not comparing or envying. But that's the definition of a relative happiness. Or so we would like, what's a relative problem, right? Say, I have a toothache and I go to the doctor, the dentist. The dentist is happy that he's going to get money by treating me, but as a patient, I'm not happy. So it's a relative problem. I have the toothache, I have the problem, but it's not a problem for the dentist. He's making money of that. A rich man has a nice house in New York City, but now he wants a summer house in, say, Key West, or hilly area, say in the hills. So for him, happiness is creating being able to afford a new house in another city and closer to nature. So these are the relative problems where you basically, I have a problem, but it's happiness for somebody else, right? One man's food is another man's poison. So that's a relative problem. We all try to solve that relative problem. We're not focusing on the real problem. What is the real problem? Real problem is different. It is common to all. Everybody has the same issue, whether it's me or my wife or my child or anybody on this call. Everybody has that same problem. It's common to all. No one wants that problem. No one wants it, and no one can avoid it. That's a real problem, right? These problems, this is the definition of the real problem. It's common to all. No one wants it, and no one can avoid it. So what are the real problems? Anybody wants to guess what are the real problems?
Aging, health.
Aging, yes.
Sickness, I think health.
Sickness, disease, yes. They got
Yes.
the second one. Somebody else?
Death, I guess, is if you don't really achieve what you want to achieve, death is kind of like a problem too.
Yes, that is a problem, yes.
Something happening to your loved ones, like something happening to your children,
Yes,
health-wise.
yes, so that sickness, yes, disease, yes, wonderful.
I think even
Right.
birth is a problem because then you get
Yes, you
problem
got it.
with
Yes, you got it. So BODD, birth is a problem. Why birth is a problem? It's not a problem for the family members, but it's a problem for the baby who's taking birth, is coming in the material world. It's called labor pain. It's not called labor pleasure. The baby is squished inside the womb of the mother for 9 months. It doesn't have space. And when it is born, it's crying. It's not coming out happy. If it doesn't cry, the doctor will try to make the baby cry, saying, "Is the baby okay?" So birth, because it's coming in the material world, it's squished inside the womb, and it's a labor pain, not labor pleasure. It's a problem which all species of life, all human beings, they have this problem that they will have. That this birth is happening, right? They also took birth. Then old age. However, science might advance, everybody, like we can do facelift, we can do a lot of things, but everybody goes through this old age. Even though I might be young, we ask, what's your age? Somebody says, I am 20 years old, right? 20 years old means 20 years closer to death. We don't say 20 years young, 20 years old. So everybody, even though they might die at 21, they were 21 years old. So old age is a problem which everybody, is common to all. Nobody wants it, and nobody can avoid it. Disease is dis-ease, right? It puts you out of ease. Everybody goes through this disease. And death, nobody wants it. But it's the most Like it's the truth of life. Everybody has to face this. So these are the real problems of life, right? Death is like, in the scriptures is defined that when death is happening, it's like 40,000 scorpions are biting us. It's very painful. These are the real problems we go through. Apart from these real problems, we have 3 other different kind of problems, right? Where the mind and the problems created by the mind and the body, our body or the mind is inflicting on us, right? We get angry, we have a problem. When we have a fever, when we have COVID, our body is going through pain. That is mind and body. It's called adhyatmika misery. That's one kind of problem. And the other one is other entities are giving us pain, right? Adibhatika, like malaria or dengue or COVID, right? Somebody else is giving us this pain. And then a natural disaster, we have no control over that. It's called adhidevika, right? A tsunami or the Ian hurricane, which went through and caused so much disaster. We have no control. So these, besides the 4 real problems, these are the 3 other miseries. Adhyatmika, which is the mind and body. Our own body is giving us misery. Other living beings are giving us misery, adibhatika, and the natural disasters, adhidevika, the natural disasters like the hurricanes and tsunamis and whatnot. So how do we achieve real happiness, right? We're talking about problems and problems and problems, saying, how are we different than animals? What are the different kinds of problems we have in life? What is the relative problem? What's the real problem? So what have we been seeing? What have we been doing? Everybody, including me, everybody, what have we been doing? What are the different kinds of solutions? How do we find this real happiness? Right? One thing which comes to mind is a painkiller. I'm having a fever or a headache. I'll take ibuprofen, aspirin. You will be fine. Or you take it out from the root cause. We are always using the shortcut and trying to find using the painkillers. The medicine will cure the disease from the root, whereas the painkiller will give the superficial relief from the pain of the disease. Some of the solutions what we are doing is just a painkiller type. Most of the solutions we are finding is just a painkiller, not the medicine. We are treating it as at the surface level. The other thing we're doing is sense gratification to find happiness. Like ostrich, when it senses that a storm is coming or a problem is coming, it just puts its head in the ground saying nothing will happen. But if you're just saying, I don't think this problem is going to affect me, if I just being ignorant, will it not really affect me? It is going to affect you. That problem will not go away. So what do we try to do to just give us temporary happiness? We find happiness in the gadgets, in the fancy gadgets, in TV, in cinema, and find food, social media, sometimes alcohol, sometimes drugs. This is just sense gratification. Are we solving the real problem, the problem which is common to all, which is nobody wants it and nobody can avoid it? But this is just a relative happiness we are getting, as a temporary happiness we are getting through sense of gratification. So does the material advancement provide solutions to real problems, like having a good car, a big house? Does it provide solutions to real problems? Yes, to a certain extent, yes. You're living comfortably. You don't have so much bodily pain, but it's only a temporary relief. As I was saying, taking the example of ice cream, it's going to finish. It's not going to give you the bliss. It's at the superficial level. Right? If I have white hair, which I have, and I put the henna, it's on the surface. It's not fixing my hair from being black. If I have body pain, I'm just taking painkillers. It's not fixing my pain from the root. So there was a guy who got fascinated, who was infatuated with the girl. So he chased her, and she seemed very pretty, very beautiful, and he chased her like sneakily. And he was sneakily saw her through the window. So that lady removed her teeth. She had no teeth. She was just putting on the dentures. Then she removed her wig, and then she put her face mask down. She was a 60-year-old woman. So he was in love. He was infatuated by the external getup she had put on. So that's where he was finding happiness. So the material advancement gives solution to real problems for a temporary purposes. This is not the permanent solution, right? And in fact, too much addiction, too much attachment to the material things will further give rise to further problems, right? We have seen people who are too much attached to alcohol they can have a problem, or too much they do drugs, they can have a problem. So that was the first kind of thing we saw, right? Then that we are saying, we're thinking that, okay, the first one was sense gratification. That's true. We are trying to find happiness. Then we're playing mental tricks, or it's also called you call it, you're just thinking that it's going to help you. It's a speculation. It's a speculation. Like, for example, people say, think positively, think positively. Yes, you should think positively. But if you have a wrong map and you're trying to say, from Florida to Washington, D.C., and think positive, you'll get to Washington, D.C., but you're going towards the west instead of going to the northeast, the positive thinking will not help. It's just on the surface. Same way, self-help books, there's so many books, so many lectures that you can become happy. Then you have laughter therapy. Again, it's at the surface. Okay, just keep laughing. But what is really bothering you? It's not taking that one out. Then there are different forums, like the drunkards, the alcoholics, people create a forum saying, how do we drive this away? I'm not against all this, but it's not the solution to the real problem, which is common to all, which nobody can avoid it, and which nobody wants. These are not the solutions. This was the speculative thinking, right? Mental tricks, speculative thinking. Then again, the other one is, this one puts the intellectuals very off. Oh, you do this yaga, this will happen, and without understanding, they do this, or you put this ring on, and you'll become happy. It's like a speed without direction. There's so many bogus masters out there. You have to have the right knowledge, or you need to find the right person. Otherwise, these superficial religious rituals are not gonna give the answer to your real problem. What's the permanent solution? We are like the lost son of a millionaire father, right? A child was lost in a Renaissance fair. He was separated from his father. So another man came by and said, okay, let me give you an iPhone and you can watch YouTube videos. And he's happy for 1 hour watching, and then he starts crying again, saying, I'm not happy. Another man comes by and he gets him to a restaurant, gets him some food, and he's happy for some time, but then after another hour, he says, I'm not happy. So the third man comes by and gives him more material things. The child is not happy. He says, I want my father. I'm not happy. Then the fourth man comes and says, okay, fine, I'll take you back home to your father. And when the son goes back home, the son is really happy. So we are like that lost son of the millionaire father. of the Supreme, who is all beautiful, all powerful. He's all renounced. He's all opulent. He's all knowledgeable. We are that lost son of that Supreme Father. We are like the aliens in this material world who have lost connectivity with that spiritual world, and that's why we are unhappy. If we connect ourselves inside spiritually to the Supreme Lord, we will find that bliss. So what have we been talking about, right? Sense gratification, food, clothing, shelter, different kinds of things for entertainment. Is that the solution? It's a superficial solution to find happiness. Speculation, positive thinking, you do asanas, exercise. Yes, it can help you. Temporary relief, temporary happiness, speculation. So that's the second S. And the third S was superficial religion. So the three superficial solutions are sense gratification, speculation, superficial religion. These are not the solutions. The real solution is to go back to that Supreme Father, where there's eternity, where there's knowledge, all knowledge, and there's supreme bliss. It's ever increasing. And you can share that with your loved ones. And there's no birth, there's no death, there's no old age, there's no disease. Because in the spiritual, you're in the material kingdom. If you go to that spiritual kingdom, spiritual planets, those are not there. And again, it's all explained in the scriptures. So a man had lost his diamond ring, and he started searching in the road, saying, "Where did I lose my diamond ring? It's so expensive." Then other man comes and says, "Why are you looking here? There's no light. Let's go in and look at the other road where there's light." So they'll start going and look at that other road and start looking there. But the ring was lost in the other road where there was no light. So if they're looking in the second road where there's light, are they looking in the right place? Are we looking for happiness in the right place? We're looking for happiness in things. Are we really looking for happiness at the right place? A man used to sell balloons, and it used to make the kids happy. So a kid came and said, "Oh, this is a black balloon. But it'll also fly? Since it's black?" He'd never seen a black balloon fly. He said, "Yes, it'll fly. It's not the color which makes it fly. It's what is inside it which makes it fly." So what is inside of us? We all have God inside of us. If we can take that love for God from inside to outside and share with everyone, if we have that love, we will become happy. That's the solution to the real problem. Is there a right place? So we've been talking about the four things which cause a real problem, which is common to all. Nobody can avoid it and nobody wants it. So in the material world, in the earthly planet, everybody will get birth, old age, disease, and death. Is there a right place where there's not there? It is there. It's in the spiritual realm. But even in this world where we are living, can we be fully satisfied? Yes, we can be. If we connect with our inner self, our being, our Atma, our soul, to the Supreme Soul, we can find that. If we love him, because he's the source of all love. So what did we discuss today? We discussed what's the common things between an animal and a human seed, right? We all sleep, we eat, we enjoy, and we defend, right? What are the differences between humans and animals? That is ABCD, right? Ability to inquire for a higher purpose. B stands for bliss, right? We can experience that. We have the potential to experience bliss. C is the choice. We have the choice to respond. The animals don't have the choice to respond. D is the determination to do ABC. So these four potentials, we have these four potentials, A, B, C, D, but if we don't utilize these potentials, we are just a sophisticated two-legged animal. And again, I'm not saying that, that's the scripture saying that. So what are the real problems we have in life? It's birth, old age, disease, and death. And the other three problems are adhyatmika, somebody, my mind and body causing pain to me. That is adhyatmika. And then adibhautika, somebody else. Like I got an accident, somebody else hit me. That's somebody else giving pain or misery to me. That is adibhautika. And then adhidaivika is the natural disasters like the Hurricane Ian, or the tsunamis. These are the problems of life. And what are we doing? Temporary solutions like the painkillers, the sense gratification we spoke about, then speculation, saying positive thinking, self-help books, forums, or then the superfluous religious things. These are the temporary solutions. What's the permanent solution? So what is the permanent solution? Is connection to a God, realizing who we are, what is a relationship with God, and reviving that lost relationship, like we are the lost child who is longing for his father. Why do we all want to live forever? Why are we afraid of death? Because that's an intrinsic quality, because the soul never dies. So if we understand we are the soul and not the body, and there is a supreme soul, and what is the relationship to that soul? Through the process of bhakti yoga, which is the highest yoga, we can get to that spiritual happiness, which is like the ocean of happiness. And we are looking for happiness, the right thing, but we're looking in things. So that's the wrong thing we are doing. We have to try to look for happiness in the right place. It doesn't mean that we have to become monks. We have to, doing our duties, we have to connect. We do all our material duties, but we connect to him. So then the question becomes, is there a spiritual kingdom? Is there a God? That will be answered in the next session on next Sunday at 2 p.m. With that, I stop here and encourage you to ask any questions, any comments, feedback.
Thank you so much, Bhaktivinoda Das. It is so good. Like you nailed it. The true problems, real problems, and relative happiness, real happiness, and how we lost, and how we need to connect ourselves back to the Supreme, so we get our real happiness. Very nice session, very, very wonderfully, with the PPTs and everything. It's just staying in my mind. So thank you so much for the wonderful class.
Thank you. Any reflections?
Yeah. I concur. It was an amazing class. Thank you, Prabhuji. It was very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, the way you said it, I've experienced it in my life, Prabhuji. I think if I need something, if I get it, I find happiness. And then once I get it, I'm lost. I don't see happiness in that. You exactly nailed it. And the other thing is, you're sending notes to Shamala. Send it to us too. She's answering all your questions. I'm joking, jokes apart. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
That's
Rachita,
because you
up
were absent for the Bhagavad Gita classes. I have been sincere student, okay?
All right. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Will be by Nana and Rishi Prabhu. So please stay tuned, and we will have a wonderful session next week. This is a continuation of this session where we will be discussing, what is the topic, Prabhu?
I think, is there a God?
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Rachita, you.
Yeah, very well
Yes.
done.
I was like waiting to type because I thought the class is ending, so I'm typing it out as well. Yeah, great class. I really liked how you explained and gave like real life examples, and it's so true, like how we always associate like our happiness with things. And so once we get that thing, it's just no longer there anymore. And we're always like longing to reach that happiness. We're like, okay, like once I have this, I'm going to be happy. Once I have this, I'm going to be happy. We will also associate our happiness with things, and that's just the saddest part. And I'm also trying to like change that mentality as well for myself as well, that hey, like things are not associated like with happiness. Like I need to be happy with where I'm at, where I am, and what I am doing right now. And yeah, just getting to that part is a little bit more difficult as being a human being, but I feel like we'll all
Now
get
we
there
keep
someday.
trying so we don't renounce things, we attach to the higher thing. When we attach to the higher thing, the taste for the lower thing automatically goes away, right? If I have iPhone 14 and I have iPhone 12, if I buy the iPhone 14, I might not get a taste for iPhone 12. So when you start engaging with the higher taste, the lower taste will automatically go away.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Right? You don't need to renounce. You just need to attach to the higher taste, and automatically the lower taste will go away. And it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah, for sure. Will take a while, but definitely working on it.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, and thank you. Amazing class. I loved it.
Thank you, thank you. Shanti Auntie, you came off from mute.
Yeah, very well done. The thing is, our human brain is thinking too much. Unless we can focus something which can really control us, we cannot be happy. My father used to say, people are happy with the sadness. They are happy when they have pain. If they don't have pain, they will go to neighbor to find out something. So the thing is, until unless we just can imagine something wonderful, our brain will be wandering all around us. And for that, the bhakti is the ultimate solution. That if we can focus with somebody to whom we can see as a child, we can see as a friend, we can see as our father, and we have nothing to worry. And like before our marriage age or whatsoever, when we were with the parents, we were not thinking anything. So now if we make the parents are the imaginary parents or bhakti marg parents, then there's no preeti, no fear, nothing. We will be jumping around, we will be happy. So to me, the Gita lesson, each and every topic gives something. And if you think that how I can transform me same way as my father or as an aunt of my God or whatsoever, we cannot be like them, but we can have a little bit, right? We solve the problem. So you did very good job. And I always appreciate that you reminder and all this. I just came home and I started right away. I didn't know that I can just press a button and I'm right there too. So very nicely done. I appreciate your group, and all those lectures are wonderful. All
thank you. Yes,
others
all these.
too.
Yes,
And
thank
yours
you.
one is right. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, all these classes are again taken from the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. So thank you.
Especially for our age group, it is something to do when we get up at Brahm Muhurat time, and we say, well, now what to do? Then it is much easier for us. So it is making our life easier.
Yes, thank you, Auntie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So we will see you. Thank you for joining the class today. And we will see you again Sunday at 2 p.m. Thank you for your association. Hare Krishna.